Hi, Haunted Family. Welcome back to another episode. I don't know about you, but one of the best things about hot summer days is taking a nice cool dip in the lake. But, as you'll see from some of the stories in this episode, sometimes fun days at the lake bring with it some spooky notes. Sit back, enjoy the show, and if you like what you hear, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Story 1. Lake Patrol. I work night security at the marina. I'm the only officer at night, and by 12, no one is there. My job requires me to walk down to the dock, a very few key points on the perimeter, and a few inside the property. I usually complete those 5 to 6 patrols a night. At about 3 a.m., I was finishing a patrol. I was at the end of the far dock, at the end of the marina. On the right of me, about 30 feet, is a dock I had just walked. And on my left, nothing but open water. I scanned my point and do a quick scan of the wave breakers when I hear a woman's voice to my right. "Aw, look at the duckies." I quickly flashed my light on the area and saw nothing. I waved it off as my paranoia and the docks creaking. I turned around and started leaving when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around and shined my flashlight. Again, there was nothing. I started to walk again, and a few steps down, I hear the footsteps pick back up from the spot I had recently heard them stop. Now I'm wondering what it is. I'm assuming it's just my footsteps echoing. So I walk back when suddenly I feel a quick breeze. I didn't pay too much attention to it at the moment. I stand there for a moment, testing the boards, when I determine it's nothing and begin walking away. I get to the bend in this dock when I hear a really loud, "Look!" I turn and scan the area, and what do I find? Ducks. I am now officially freaked out, so I resolve to quickly get off the dock. I get to the off-ramp. When I do a quick turnaround, I saw a figure standing at the beginning of the bend. But once I'd fully turned around, I didn't see anything. Every now and again, when I go down that dock, I'll hear something or another, or see something move, only to find nothing there. A few nights ago, I was at the point in the marina, about a quarter of a mile away from the dock, just sitting there, scanning and enjoying the air, when I hear a moan from the direction of the dock. Upon investigation, I found no one there. Thankfully, that was the only occurrence that night. The second one is probably only borderline paranormal. I was night fishing with my wife and a female friend on a local river, watching a meteor shower. Chilling, drinking, fishing. I decided I wanted to check out a spot further down the river, so I leave them behind and head off into the woods. I'm about 100 yards or so down the path, all alone, just me and the crickets, when I hear a female voice say my name, loudly, plain as day, like someone was standing a few feet behind me, trying to get my attention. I turn around, naturally thinking that one of the girls has followed me. But nope, no one was there. I'm not a huge believer in the supernatural, but this freaked me out. So I immediately head back, and sure enough, they are still hanging out on the riverbank, watching the meteor shower. There's absolutely no way I could have heard them that clearly from that far away. I told them what had happened, and they still to this day think that I was just messing around trying to scare them. But I'm telling you, I still get the willies thinking about it, and I've never been back to that spot since. Story 2. The Lake House. My story all starts in 1934. This couple lives in this nice 2-story lake house. They have a little boat that they love to invite their friends' children over to swim. They loved kids. The couple had tried for years and years to have children of their own, but they never did. One summer night, the wife couldn't take it anymore, and she walked off the end of the houseboat with a big rock tied around her waist. The next morning, her husband finds her, and he's devastated. 5 or 6 years later, he can't take the pain and lonesomeness anymore, and he burns the house down while he was still inside. Flash forward to 1999. It's 3 or 4 days before the 4th of July, and it's the exact same spot where that big old house had burned down. Time has taken its toll on the land, and it's grown over, and new houses rest upon the land. Myself, along with another girl, and a couple guys, are spending the week up at this lake at a boathouse. It's 2 or 3 in the morning, and we all fall asleep. Suddenly, the beds begin to shake. This terrifies us to the point where we decide to push the beds together to see if this helps it to stop shaking, but also for the comfort factor of all being able to cuddle together in one giant bed. The shaking stops for about 30 minutes or so, just long enough for us all to begin to doze off again. And just as we're starting to doze off, the beds start to shake again. We pull the covers up over our heads. We huddle together. I decided to be the brave one and pop my head out of the covers and look around to see if I could see what or who was causing the beds to shake. And I did. There was a bright white light standing just over by a window. So I asked one of my friends if they would pop their head out from under the covers and see if they could see it too. All 3 of my friends said, "No way. No way. Not gonna do it. Ain't happening." I couldn't peel my eyes away from the light. And all of a sudden, it just flickers out. I get my eyes to focus back on the blackness around me, and I return to the group huddled under the covers. I once again ask my friends if they'll look and see if there's anything in the boathouse. Once again, everyone is scared, and once again, I peek out above the covers. This is where it starts getting freaky. We had locked all the doors. There are 2 rooms in the boathouse, and 2 doors leading to the outside. We had locked all the doors. One shutter door, the door joined 2 rooms together. When I looked above the covers, the shutter door and the door that was in the other room that led to the outside was open. When I saw that the doors were open, I screamed. One of the guys popped his head out above the covers and said, "Oh shit," and ran out of the other door, up the hill to the trailer, and the others followed. I swear to you, we saw a black figure standing there, in the room with us, with the head of a demon and the body of the strongest man we had ever seen. We haven't seen it since. I think maybe it was the man whose wife had drowned and had killed himself in the house that had once stood there. But I've never seen pictures of the couple, although I am a descendant of this couple. Definitely one of the scariest, freakiest nights of my life. Story 3 made me a believer. I've always been a non-believer until this happened. I guess the mysticism around ghosts and hauntings has always been such a fun thing, but I've never taken it too seriously, having grown up strict Catholic and believing that heaven and hell are the only 2 places our spirits go after we are gone. The other day, after having a rather large group barbecue at a nearby lake, we were left with nothing to do. We decided to go to a theme park, which had been closed down about 10 years prior to my visit, after a girl had been killed there. Since the little girl's death, there's been stories circulating about men taking girls there to rape and kill them, in the early years after the park's closure. But police began a close watch over the rather large area. I believe it is now private property, but nonetheless, being an unscrupulous teen, I loved taking the risk. We were in a group of about 15, and it seemed really fun to me. We eventually reached an old house situated in the middle of the park, and I have to admit, I was rather afraid. But to prove my wit, I decided to go in first, alone. To my disappointment, the doors and windows were locked. We began to walk back to the entrance of another house, realizing the point of our trip was stopped by a few metal bars in our inability and unwillingness to break into the first house. When we realized 2 members of our party were missing, I wasn't worried at all, as I knew they were playing a prank on us. Assuming they had walked back to the entrance, we decided to follow. But on our way, we received a call from one of them, telling us they had been separated, and he was waiting by the lake. So we walked back to the lake, realizing they weren't there. But this was still only part of their joke. A high-pitched, girlish scream came from somewhere near the entrance, and a sudden, surrealist mode I ran towards the scream. There I saw two white figures, whom I assumed were the two missing